こんにちは。Hey guys, what's going on? If you are new here, my name is Roko Nemui. I'm posting various videos about the Japanese language. Today's topic is te form. Te form is one type of conjugation used for verbs, adjectives, and nouns. And it's an essential form that appears in many different grammar patterns. In this video, I'll show you how to conjugate verbs or adjectives or nouns into the te form. And I also introduce one of its most common uses. Alright, let's get started. First, let's look at how to conjugate it. We'll start with verbal te form. Among them, let's start with the easiest one, root verbs. For root verbs, you simply change the final ru to te. That's it. Here is an example. 食べる becomes 食べて. So what about 寝る? It becomes 寝て, right? Next, let's look at the irregular verbs. There are two irregular verbs, する and 来る. する becomes して and 来る becomes 来て. For example, 掃除する becomes 掃除して. Lastly, let's look at the U verbs. For U verbs, the te form changes depending on the final sound of the verb. Here is the conjugation chart. Verbs ending in u, tsu, or ru become te. Verbs ending in mu, bu, or nu become nde. Verbs ending in su become shite. Verbs ending in ku become ite. And verbs ending in gu become ide. In modern Japanese, there are no verbs that end in zu, fu, fu, or yu. Let's look at each pattern with examples. 買う becomes 買って. 待つ becomes 待って. 取る becomes 取って. 読む becomes 読んで. 飛ぶ becomes 飛んで. 死ぬ becomes 死んで. 話す becomes 話して. 書く becomes 書いて. 泳ぐ becomes 泳いで. These rules might seem difficult to memorize. If you search for te form song on YouTube, you'll find lots of songs that help you remember te form. So I think it's good to practice with your favorite one. That's all for verbs. Next, let's look at adjectival te form and nominal te form. For I adjectives, you change the final I to うて. For example, 大きい becomes 大きくて. So what about かわいい? Yes, it becomes かわいくて. there are a couple of exceptions. いい becomes よくて and かっこいい becomes かっこよくて This is because いい originally came from よい Actually, even today, in formal writing like papers, it's still pronounced よいかっこいい is made from かっこ plus いい So it conjugates the same way as いい Anyway, those are the only exceptions. Everything else follows the regular conjugation pattern. Next, let's look at な adjectives. For な adjectives, you change the final な to で For example, きれいな becomes きれいで Then, what about 静かな That's right, 静かで There is one thing to be careful about. 大きい and 小さい can also appear as 大きな and 小さな But you can't conjugate them like 大きで or 小さで You must say 大きくて and 小さくて according to the rule for e adjective. Okay, finally, let's look at nominal te form. Nominal sentences are sentences like 私は学生です or あれはスーパーです Basically, noun sentences follow the same conjugation pattern as な adjectives. You change です to で For example, 学生です becomes 学生で It's simple, isn't it? That's all for how to conjugate te form. Lastly, I'll introduce one grammar point that uses te form. Te form is used when there are two or more verbs, adjectives, or nouns in a row. For example, imagine a sentence like I went to a convenience store and bought juice. In this sentence, there are two verbs, went and bought. In Japanese, in this kind of sentence, you put all the verbs except the last one into the te form. So in Japanese, it would look like this. コンビニに行ってジュースを買いました。In other words, te form works like the English word and. If there are three or more verbs, you put all of them into te form except the last one. For example, 昨日は京都に行って抹茶を飲んで買い物をしました。The same rule applies to adjectives and nouns as well. Let's look at some examples. 私の日本語の先生は優しくてきれいで面白いです。ダニエルさんは医者で父親でいい夫です。Does the usage make sense? Now it's practice time. Please change these into the te form. Here are the answers. How many did you get right? That's all for today's lesson. Great job today! That form is a very important grammar point, so make sure to review it. In the next video, I introduce several grammar points that use the that form. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye bye.